Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Hasbunallah wa ni'mal wakil. The Lord is my light and my salvation, whom shall I fear? And yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil. My cup runneth over, and surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life. And I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever and ever. Amen. Assalamu alaikum. It's Tuesday. Welcome to Johnny's Bite. We wish that we'll stay steadfast and strong and sure on this Ramadan and Lent journey. Akaka Krebi, in less than a little while, we'll be gone. This morning, there are a couple of issues that we have to talk about. And I will begin by first congratulating Team Ghana one more time. Azameti and the rest of the team have continued to shine out there. And daily, they try to increase the positive news, as it were, out there about the ongoing Africa Games. But you see, the positivity that we hope to see in its totality must come together when officialdom is doing its part, the athletes are doing their part, and then the citizenry are doing their part. Yesterday, look at the Cape Coast Stadium. It was filled to capacity, almost, I should say, when our ladies played. People were happy, people were excited. And then in Accra, while Azameti was getting ready to go on his sprint, the lights went off. So yes, you want us to talk about Azameti's win, but you don't want us to talk about the fact that the lights went off. It's a big problem. Yesterday, a gentleman reached out to me, said he was one of the vendors, paid 2,500 cedis, and for 10 days where they were stationed, not a single game happened there. So even as of yesterday, when he was engaging me, he had only sold something for about 40 cedis or 60 cedis the whole day. This was in the afternoon, late afternoon, I should say. And then I asked myself, why? Then you hear that, South Africa has pulled out of the hockey games. Both their male and female teams, they have pulled out of the hockey games. Find me the sports minister's video. Find me sports minister's video. And I told you something. That thing is coming back to bite us. Listen to your sports minister.
Johnny's Bite.
All the turf, we had back and forth with the Hockey Federation because the pitch, the turf that the contractor who is working on it recommended, the Hockey Federation decided different turf. And that turf, we can only get it in Germany. So we needed to then procure this turf for them, and we have currently the turfs and everything, all the facilities are in Ghana. The contractor is working on it. Hockey will not start until on the 15th. They've even rescheduled it to 16th. So I'm in touch with the African hockey president and also Ghana president and the contractor. So be rest assured that the facility is going to be in shape to ensure that hockey also come on board.
So this is what the minister said. And I remember very well, I asked the question, why are we still explaining instead of apologizing? I asked that question. And yesterday blew up in our faces. The South African says, no, we cannot play on this. We will not risk it because we have our eyes set on the Olympics. We will not risk it. That's what the South African said. Who would applaud it? Who would applaud this? Who in their right frame of mind would applaud this? Who would applaud it? Yesterday, I showed you the extension board. And DJ Abiam said, even if you wanted to use naked wires, it was going to be difficult for you to use the naked wires. Then there was a printer that had, it's whatever in Chinese. So there's a language barrier, and then there's a technical barrier. Who won't complain about it? And this is after we have spent, what, $240 million, as reported by the BBC.
Johnny's Bite.
$240 million, reported by the BBC. Put it up there. Put the BBC up there, quick. $240 million by the BBC. And then, as if that were not enough, we actually went ahead and clamored for it. We desired for it. We kicked, we struggled and we yearned for it. Put the BBC thing up there so people don't think I'm making it up. We yearned for it. Give me the DW news cutting. We yearned for it. We asked for it. It says Ghana aims to host Africa Games despite economic crisis. A story by Jens Krepella. Additional reporting was done by Isaac Kaleji in Accra. The 6th of April 2023, Ghana remains determined to host the next African Games despite its worst financial crisis in decades. However, even in the wake of a multi-billion IMF loan, some supporters of the project have grown skeptical. This was covered on DW. I didn't put it there. I didn't publish it. So we had ample time to prepare for this. Because mind you, this was supposed to happen in 2023. Now here's something that I'll talk about. You see, if you look at the pedigree and the capacity of the individuals who have been brought together, the professionals who have been brought together to do the things that they are supposed to do, in their individual capacities, they are able to deliver. I can on any day vouch for Yao Sechi because I've worked with him before.
Johnny's Bite.
And if you attend Yao Sechi's events, whether it's basketball or something related to boxing, the organization is top-notch. So why is it that somebody of that nature who can do his things privately with his Right Sports or Right Multimedia, then he's now brought into this whole big thing, and the whole conversation is a mess because now what is he going to market? What is he going to communicate? What is he going to get for sponsorship when all this negativity is around the thing? You can talk about Juliet Bewa on her own. I worked with her as well here. Then you put them up there and literally mess them up, and you make excuses for messing people up. You had a back and forth with the federation. The federation now is bigger than the ministry, and so you couldn't have a conversation around it such that for games like we had to postpone the hockey pitch. And then while the games had started and it was ongoing, we were now constructing and fixing the hockey pitch. And you ask which world-class athlete in his right senses will come and play on that. The South Africans have shown you that we won't take it. I'm not sure they would accept to sit in pick-up buckets to go and play games. I'm not sure they will wear undersized or oversized, footwear and jerseys. I'm not sure they will do that. Sometimes when people want to volunteer and people want to do things for their country, sometimes they look at some of these bottlenecks and they start thinking, am I supposed to be doing this at all? How we kill Vim in this country is not a joke. How we just dumping people's spirit is not a joke anymore. It's not a joke. It's not a joke at all anymore. And then I read somewhere that, Cheddar says, I will dredge to get the sea. Put the Cheddar thing up there for me, please. I will dredge to get the sea to Kumasi, so we can bring ships here. It's 2024. We can't be dragging containers to Kumasi. Nana Kwame Bediako, founder of the New Force. Put this thing up there for me, please. And then I ask my question. This looks familiar, does it not? It looks very, very familiar. We have heard such sweet promises before. It was the reason some people queued to vote, because they were told all manner of things. So if Cheddar dredges I will provide the salt for the seed to happen in Kumasi. I will provide the salt. There's water there. I will add the salt to it so that we can get the seed in Kumasi. So it happened in Dubai. The Dubai situation and what we have. Even Accra in Sawam Kumasi Road is a problem for you. Now we are talking about dredging. Somebody came and told us that we are going to have a rail line from Takrady to Paga. It has not happened. In the last owner, he just made one line about it that he knows that it has not happened, but he believes that nobody will come and the future government will not abandon his dream. You had 8 years. You couldn't actualize it. You want somebody to come after you to come and do it. Did the person force you to put it in your manifesto? And did you have consultations with those people before you put it there? The president said it in the Sona. And it is the same, in the same vein that, for example, we have, look, Dr. Bawumia's old tweet, put it up for me. You see the problems we are facing today. Dr. Bawumia tweeted on 14th of June, 2016, 2:20 p.m. The hashtag was Vote for Change. Listen to what he said. He said the Mahama government is being unfair to the ECG. The government has denied the company the requisite resources needed for its efficient operation. Privatizing ECG won't solve the problem. What ECG needs now is for the government to pay its debt to ECG. I take it again. The Mahama government has not been fair to ECG. The government has denied the company its requisite resources needed for efficient operation. Privatizing ECG won't solve the problem. What ECG needs now is for the government to pay its debts to ECG. Today, when Parliament was shut down, their power was cut. What was their concern? That they owe money. Hospitals are now being threatened that their lights will be cut. What is the concern? They owe money. Schools are being disconnected. What is the concern? They owe money. Ministries, departments, and agencies are being disconnected. They are on their toes and they are heels. Why? Because they owe. Dr. Bawumia has been in power for 8 years old. The things that he criticized, today they have come around again. What government needs to do now is to pay ECG the debts they owe them. Now he talked about privatization would solve the problem. Was it not under the watch of Dr. Bawumia and Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo that we had the PDS? What was PDS? PDS was privatization of ECG by a consortium, a few people. They came together, they privatized it. Today, if we are looking for accountability for the PDS issues,
Johnnie's
nobody
right.
wants to stick their neck out. So he talks about the fact that
Johnnie's
requisite
right.
resources have not been given to ECG, and ECG is always complaining. He spoke about privatization. That has already happened. Bad word, bad news. And then now he speaks about paying debts. The three things that he spoke about, which were plaguing ECG. He has had 8 years as a driver's mate. We haven't been able to fix it. All those three things haven't been fixed. And yet there's somebody else who's now promising to dredge a sea in Kumasi. I say I'll provide the salt. The electorates have become so wise these days that some of these things do not kick them again. The electorates are not dunderheads. They are not dunderheads at all. Now, there's a final one. The LGBT thing, letter from the presidency. I read to you, just in case you are looking and wondering what the feedback is. This is dated the 18th of March 2024. 18th of March 2024. It says, transmission of the Human Sexual Rights and Family Values Bill 2024. It has come to the attention of this office that while the president and other senior officials of the presidency were at Pediasi for a cabinet retreat on Thursday, 14th March 2024, you attempted to submit the Human Sexual Rights and Family Values Bill 2024, the bill, to Jubilee House for the president to signify his assent or otherwise to the bill. The office is aware of 2 pending applications for an order of interlocutory injunction, both filed on 7th March 2024 in the Supreme Court in Dr. Amanda Odoi versus the Speaker of Parliament and the Attorney General, and Richard Sky versus the Parliament of Ghana and the Attorney General, respectively, to restrain you and Parliament from transmitting the bill to the President, and also to restrain the President from signifying his assent to the bill pending the final determination of the matter. The Attorney General has, by this letter dated 18th March 2024, informed the President that he has been duly served with both applications and has advised the President not to take any step in relation to the bill unless the matters raised by the suits are determined by the Supreme Court. It is the understanding of the office that both applications have also been duly served on Parliament. Therefore, it would be improper for you to transmit the bill to the President, and equally improper for this office to receive the bill until the Supreme Court determines the matter raised in the suit. Indeed, it is settled that during the pendency of an interlocutory injunction application, the status quo ante ought to be preserved, and no action should be taken that will result in prejudicing the injunctive relief sought and undermining the authority of the court. In the circumstances, you are requested to cease or desist. You are requested to cease or desist transmitting the bill to the President until the matters before the Supreme Court are resolved. The simple question that comes to mind is, where was the President's secretary when we hurriedly passed the e-levy bill? The President signed the e-levy thing. Of course, these days now, even Momo operators are complaining that way. They want to transfer money from their own merchant account, from their own bank account to their merchant account, and vice versa. They charge them e-levy. The things that we were told in the law that we're not going to attract all those e-levy nuisance taxes now attracts them, and everybody is quiet. The thresholds have been taken off, and everybody is quiet. Where was the President's secretary, respectfully, when the President was busy assenting to the e-levy bill to make it law for Ghanaians to be taxed on every corner? Where was he? Was he not aware that there was an action then in the court on the e-levy matter? Did he at any point write this missive to us and to the Parliament to tell them, for example, that cease serving the bill on the people? You see, this Ajana 1, Ajana 2 attitude that we have, it won't help us. It will not help us in any way at all. I've just showed you a tweet. Look, bring back that Dr. Bawumia tweet again.
Johnny's Bite.
And I was speaking about it in relation to what Cheddar said. Cheddar said he is going to dredge for Ashanti region, Kumasi, to have a sea. I said, I'll provide the salt. You should dredge. The water will come. I will provide the salt in whatever quantity he wants, whether it's from Electrochem or from Brazil. I will provide the salt so that we can get the sea in Kumasi. We were promised that we're going to get a rail line from Takrady to Paga. That has not happened. The President in his last one had just whispered a bit about it. Tomorrow I'll show you in the document. He just one line said, oh, it has not been done, but he hopes that the future government will not abandon it. Now, this is Dr. Bawumia. He says the Mahama government has been unfair to ECG. The government has denied the company the requisite resources needed for its efficient operation. Privatizing ECG won't solve the problem. What ECG needs now is for the government to pay its debt to ECG. Vote for change. This was at 2:20 p.m., 14 June 2016. Under whose watch was ECG privatized into PDS and reversed? Because we were not too sure. Conditions precedent, conditions subsequent. You remember all the bank guarantee, insurance guarantee. You remember all those things? The corruption that was said to have engulfed all of that deal. Under whose watch did it happen? The same person who's talking about the fact that privatizing will solve the problem. Maybe again he didn't agree, or maybe again he was just advising and nobody listened to his advice as a driver's mate.
Johnny's Bite.
Under whose watch has ECG now gone around cutting power to parliament, cutting power to schools, threatening to cut power to hospitals and all of that? Under whose watch? And why is ECG going around threatening to cut the power, cutting the power? It's because they owe. And those places like Parliament is not a profit-making organization, so you have to pay. It's government's duty to pay. That's indebtedness. Under whose watch? ECG is always complaining about lack of resources. Under whose watch has that happened? Put the tweet up there.
Johnny's
Under whose
Bite.
watch has that happened? So when you listen to some of these things, and people listen to this and they voted because they wanted to see change. 8 years have come. We have not seen that change yet. So when you hear good brother Cheddar also saying that, oh, I will dredge so that we can get it. It sounds very nice. Accra Kumasi Highway is a horror movie. If you are driving, it's a horror movie. It's a horror movie. I'm telling you. A horror movie. So Cheddar, please come again. And you see, when people say those things, you have to ask them. Put Cheddar's thing up. When people say these things, you have to ask them questions. Also, Cheddar has said it. He will dredge so that we can get a sea in Kumasi. How much is it going to cost? How long is it going to take? And where is he going to draw the resources from? And what we are going to... Look, actually play the video for me. Video no lie. Play the video for me.
Uku Dubai, Omukrano, na ye desert, and so Mukranya, Epo Abaho, Oma Dredge, Ayadeba Kwam Pesamiama Kumasi Maya, Seme Dredge Ama Epo Ebiabaha, near Timid ship near the Adenso de Nomaba, 2024, Nafini Ebi container. 1111 from Accra Harbour, Ediaba, Temahabo, Ediaba Kumasi, Ebi Okra, Tiki Base 6 hours and Sana container, Bakope, Wedra, Ebi Duarazuna, and Noma Base, half a walk container, Nina Ebia Bubu, Abra. We are railway and answer we in Swa within 1 hour, not container 500.
Hey, international seaman. International seaman. See, the Ghanaian electorate, they have become very, very smart and wise. Some of these lofty promises that they bowed to in the past, it will not work again. Have you ever wondered why when something is launched these days, people ask a lot of questions? So, for example, what do you call it? Ghana Card at Birth. Great initiative. But people are asking questions that the mothers of the children you want to register at birth, their mothers are still struggling to get their Ghana card. The children that you want to register at birth, the birth and death registry, sometimes you go there, they tell you that the paper to print the birth certificate is finished. You go to passport office, common passport booklet for Ghanaians, they tell you the passport booklet is finished. So we want to do some of these lofty things. When you listen to them and you also turn back and look at the basics that have not been done, you ask yourself, what's going on? It's not a bad idea if we can dredge to get a sea in Kumasi. I will provide the salt. That's a promise. Even if you take me 10 years, I'll provide the salt. You dig, find the water, I'll add the salt so that we can get the sea together. But first, fix the Accra Kumasi road. It's a death trap. It's a horror movie. Advocate for that. People die on it on a daily basis. People die on it, and we know why. It's dark, pothole ridden, and so dangerous a road to drive on. We know it. So the priorities. But you see, the Ghanaian electorate always believes in, they have been conditioned to believe certain things. So when the things, hey, Messiah Anabo, international seaman, please revise your notes. Have a good morning.